When Amy Bosley sat in the Alexandria, Kentucky Police Department on May 17, 2005, it was 2 days before her 15th wedding anniversary. Her husband was dead, and the cops wanted to know what happened.
He was yelling and the guy started shooting.
The word was that he was shot several times and that this intruder had run out the back door and into the woods.
With a killer on the loose, police called up a massive search.
We immediately called for a canine officer and a helicopter for air surveillance too.
But while the dogs and helicopters would turn up no sign of the killer, someone else would.
We walked in and they said, "You need to talk to these people."
The answer to who killed Bob Bosley would eventually be found in the family's dirty laundry, literally. Amy Pape was raised in the small town of Alexandria, Kentucky. She was the only child of a working mom and an alcoholic but adoring father.
Amy didn't come from money. She knew she wanted bigger and better things.
She studied hard, becoming a top student at Campbell County High School.
Amy was very, very organized. Everything was under control.
When she graduated in 1986, Amy enrolled in management classes at a local community college. To pay the bills, she also took a waitressing job. One of her regular customers was an up-and-coming local businessman named Bob Bosley.
Bob Bosley was very well known. He had really built, a pretty small, simple business into a pretty big business.
When he wasn't working hard, Bob partied even harder, especially on his boat docked on Lake Cumberland.
Supposedly there was wild parties on boats down in Cumberland Lake in Kentucky.
Bob eventually asked her out, and for Amy, stepping onto Bob's boat unleashed an undiscovered wild streak.
She was being just as wild as he was. She was taking her top off just like every other woman was down there on the boat.
In 1990, 4 years after they started dating, the couple tied the knot. Within a few years, Amy gave birth to a little girl, followed 3 years later by a boy. Like she had in school, Amy excelled in her new role as mother.
One of her outstanding personality traits was her devotion to her children.
Amy's hands were pretty full with raising the kids, but Bob convinced her to put her college smarts and organizational skills to good use, handling the books for his busy roofing business.
He wanted to be out on the roofs with his crew. He wanted to be cleaning the chimneys, do whatever needed to be done to make sure the job was done right.
Amy was like the office manager, doing bookkeeping and billing and that sort of thing.
With Amy handling the finances and Bob focusing on the work, business boomed.
Bob was a very hard worker. He knew how to make money, and there was a lot of business and a lot of money coming through there.
Bob continued working and playing hard. But Amy, taking care of 2 kids and managing the finances of a growing business, mostly just worked hard. It eventually took a toll on the marriage.
Their relationship had deteriorated to the point where it wasn't a good marriage. Bob was contemplating divorce.
Despite the complications in their relationship, in 2005, the Bosleys began construction on a castle-like mansion, complete with stone turrets, a gargoyle, and stained glass Bosley coats of arms in the windows. As their new home took shape, the family made a temporary move into one of their rental properties. A log cabin nestled in the woods south of town, it was a little cramped for what was, for the moment at least, a family of 4. May 17, 2005. Just before dawn, Amy and her husband Bob lay in bed inside the secluded cabin. Their 2 young children were tucked into the loft overhead. Just before 5 a.m., a desperate call came into the Campbell County 911 center.
Breaking into my house. My husband's fighting with them.
What's going on?
Someone is breaking into our house, and my husband... No, you can't go out there. It's my kids.
Where are they at, man?